mean, Andrea was the love of my life. You know, we got together quite late on. We were sort of both in our 30s, and you know, every day with her was better than any day without her. Even now, I miss her so very much, and you know, I mean, she was just incredibly clever, incredibly kind. I think her only fault was she didn't realise how amazing she was. It was shortly after the birth of our second child that Andrea was feeling lethargic and tired, and you know, and we didn't think of anything of it because we just had a second child, and we already had one, and it was, you know, it's pretty tough. In the new year, when he was about 4 or 5 months old, she got jaundice and went to the hospital and to be tested, and someone sort of took a look at her and said, actually, there's something weird about about your skin tone, about your eye colour, and we think there's something else going on here. And they did some tests, and they discovered that she had something wrong with her liver. And over the months that followed, it turned out to be autoimmune hepatitis, which for most people is you know, it's not fatal for most people, but everything went wrong that could go wrong. She was you know, she didn't respond well to the steroids. When the inflammation of her liver subsided, she had much more scarring than people expected, so it was harder for her to recover. And the steroids didn't really work, so she stayed on them, and because they battered her immune system, she caught an infection. Just, you know, because she couldn't fight it, it got established in her system, and because she had that infection, it meant she couldn't have a liver transplant. They were left with a sort of choice between treating the liver disease or treating the infection, and anything you did for one, you know, it made the other worse. And in the end, they told us that it wasn't. You know, she was into intensive care, then out of intensive care, then then just in the end we had to let her go. So when we set up the fundraising appeal, we were really shocked. I sort of posted it on Twitter, and I sort of kept the money kept on, you know, going up and up and up and up, and I was sort of amazed. And then so we spoke to the Medical Research Foundation, and they offered to match the funding that we'd raised from their own reserves, and to expand the fellowships they were offering from 3 to 4, and to cover both viral and autoimmune hepatitis. I think we made the best choice, and every time I speak to Andrea or hear what she's up to, I'm sort of reinforced in that belief.
At the time that I got this funding, I also had a young family that was quite similar to Andrea's, and it has made a big difference to my career and my research. People that suffer from autoimmune hepatitis are usually younger people, and mainly women. Current treatment options for autoimmune hepatitis are quite limited. We are giving immunosuppressants to people that suffer from autoimmune hepatitis, and these affect the entire body. So you end up having a person that's otherwise quite healthy, having an immunocompromised body that could be susceptible to infection. Ideally, we would like to develop therapies that enable us to take away the immunosuppression, especially the glucocorticoid steroids that we are giving to these patients that can have a lot of adverse effects. We discovered a new biological process that we named enclysis, from the Greek to enclose, to keep in captivity. And we called it that because we noticed that hepatocytes in the liver, the epithelial cells that form about 80% of the liver mass, they're able to engulf live T cells and reduce their frequencies in the liver. And that gives us an opportunity to intervene with new therapies. So, for example, for patients with autoimmune hepatitis that suffer from uncontrolled inflammation in the liver, wouldn't it be nice to have a way to control inflammation just in the liver and not the rest of the body, immunocompromising the patient? We believe that by blocking enclysis, we can increase the frequencies of regulatory cells, and that will reduce inflammation in the liver.
I think one of the things I've come to realise is just how much medical research matters, and just how much scope there is for us to do more of it and to raise public awareness of it. So obviously I really hope that this research has a lasting effect, that the mechanism they discover helps people to deal with liver inflammation, that sort of people don't need steroids, they don't need transplants, and that would be itself be transformative. But I also want to, I think we should be doing an awful lot more of this.
I think charity organisations that fund this type of research, first of all, accelerate discovery that can lead to new therapies, but at the same time they help refocus the scientists on focusing on impactful research for what matters. These donations make a huge difference for us and for our science, and we end up funding projects that are very difficult to fund, such as new discovery ideas that can lead to novel therapies.